Chapter 10, September 23rd. I sat with Nolan for an hour after school. He's breathing on his own, but surviving on a feeding tube. His eyes stayed closed. Pat came in while I was writing. I helped her shift Nolan so we could change the sheets and keep him from getting bed sores. The twins watched from the doorway, and the baby started crying. Jake stayed in his room. I want to change things for them. I want to make everything better. Instead, I vacuumed the living room. Anything I can do to lighten Pat's load. We both know I only have a few months left. Things will be different when I turn 18, but I still don't know what that's going to look like. 18 is an exciting age for most descendants. That's the age we gain the ability to choose a guardian. The age where we begin our search for a companion to share our knowledge and energy, who will serve as a protector and friend. Not all guardian-descendant relationships are romantic. There are some friendships, and even some business partners, but choosing a guardian and having a guardian accept creates a powerful bond that leaves little room for other relationships. I don't know of very many descendant-guardian duos who are able to maintain a significant relationship while bonded to another. I won't have that choice to make when I turn 18. My birthday will only be a symbol of all that I've lost, and everything I destroyed. Treadon Nelson. Tutoring. Getting a little help. No matter what Jaren said, this wasn't a big deal. Still, Treadon felt his nerves tingling with anxiety, a pressure constricting his chest. If he could fail at something as easy as high school math, he was worried he didn't stand a chance in college, even if he wanted to do something besides football. This might be a sign he wasn't capable of anything more. He bit his cheek as he approached the door to the tutoring room. If she could help him, he would take it. He was sure part of the problem was Mr. Ashcroft, and blaming the teacher made it possible to bury the feeling of failure a little deeper. With his hand on the door, he practiced a couple of different smiles. An awkward one, a scary one, no, a half smile. This was going to be embarrassing. Finally, he decided on a Jaren-style confident grin and opened the door. The cool act lasted less than a second. He was in a small room used for one-on-one tutoring sessions, speech therapy, or counseling sessions. A single rectangular table sat in the middle of the room, taking up most of the floor space, with a chair on either side. Occupying the chair opposite the door was a gorgeous, dark-skinned girl with long black hair and stunning, deep brown eyes. "It's you." Treadon wished he could pull those words back out of the air. Instead, he watched her absorb his words with a mixture of disdain, surprise, and fear. It was less than an instant, but he watched her struggle with those emotions, like she was trying to pull an octopus into a ball. But then she won some sort of battle and sat back, arms crossed, eyebrows raised in expectation. "It's you." She returned the words on a flat plate, devoid of emotion. Treadon fiddled with the strap on his backpack. I remember you. From the first game. When we bumped into each other, you hit me in the stomach. Do you remember?" Realizing that he was spouting words without breathing, he sat in the chair on the opposite side of the table from her. He wanted to lean forward, to add intensity to his excitement, but he saw her stiffen, his proximity making her uncomfortable. He scooted his chair back a few inches, as much as the room would allow, and leaned away from her. Her shoulders softened a fraction. "I've been looking for you," Treadon said. That sounds worse than it is. I just wanted to see you again. Explain things." "You wanted to explain why you attacked me?" Eleanor raised one eyebrow. Somehow the movement sucked the air from the room. Treadon folded his arms. "I wasn't the one who attacked you. If you remember right, you're the one who swung first. You fought back." "It was a reaction." Treadon shrugged his shoulders and put his hands out toward her. Not quite an apology, more of a justification. She understood. Maybe even agreed, but she wasn't about to admit it. "You couldn't find me because I didn't want you to find me. And you always get what you want." He meant it as a joke, but the sudden flash of pain and sorrow that shadowed her face was the opposite of what he expected. "You don't always get what you want. Or you haven't. Yet." Her head snapped back, and Treadon wished he could think through his words before they popped out of his mouth. "Don't pretend like you know me." Eleanor slapped a notebook on the table in a way that said the conversation was closed. "What subject are we studying today?" "Math. I'm struggling with my math teacher. I'm pretty sure he's from a different planet." Ellie swirled the notebook in a circle, one finger on the corner spinning in a spiral. Are you struggling with the subject or the teacher? Teacher. Treadon didn't know why he answered so quickly. He should have thought about the question. Her withering stare told him she was unimpressed. I'm not sure the teacher is the problem, she said. It's not me, Treadon said, pointing to himself to punctuate his innocence. I used to do fine in math. It's the way the guy talks, and the way he looks at me, and the way he has it in for me. Like he expects me to just fail, just because of who I am. I stay focused and pay attention the whole time. He just doesn't make any sense. What do you focus on? Eleanor asked. I focus on the teacher. Treadon spoke slowly, checking each word like he was running them over a scanner at the store to check the price. Not the lesson? Treadon felt the trap snap shut. She had meant to catch him on that one. He thought back to class, to the way he watched Mr. Ashcroft, and even without trying, could read the man's judgment of him, his expectation of failure, his dismissal. Treadon blew air between his lips in frustration. Okay, I do watch him. I try and predict what to do to stay out of trouble. He's got it in for me. He thinks I expect a free ride because I'm a football player. Do you? What? Expect a free ride. No. Treadon felt like she'd snapped a rubber band at his chest. He felt offended and exposed at the same time. He shifted in his seat, leaning forward. You sound like you agree with him. Her blank stare was her only answer. I don't expect a free ride. I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to fight for this. I need to pass my classes so I can play football. It's important. She didn't answer for a moment. The silence was so complete that the sounds of teachers' muffled voices and shoes squeaking on tile leaked into the room. It sounds like you have a hill to climb to prove him wrong. I think the best thing you can do is focus on the lesson and stop trying to predict the teacher. But you told me I should. No, I didn't. Yeah, after you hit me, which hurt, by the way, you weren't pulling your punches. It was like you thought your life was in danger. But anyway, you said that I should try and see more. That's not exactly what I said. I know, but I did it. I did what you said. Treadon sat forward, resting his elbows on the table, and this time she didn't pull back. She seemed more like she was resisting the pull to mirror him, to draw herself closer. I tried to see more. I smiled at a girl in the hallway. Congratulations. Her voice was still flat, but he caught the lilt, so small. Amusement. Below her prickly protection of thorny bushes, she had a sense of humor. No, I mean, she needed a smile, I could tell. And then there was the girl who'd lost the light in her eyes. I didn't do anything about that, but I wanted to. And then those guys, I got in a fight in the locker room. Jaren called me a hero, and it felt good. I wanted to do more. I'm a little confused. No. Treadon didn't mean to say the word with so much confidence, but he could see she knew exactly what he was talking about. Not the details, not the stories, but his excitement. The hunger he'd felt when doing good things. She reflected the hunger he felt multiplied by 1,000. You're not confused, he said. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Treadon pushed everything else from his mind and focused on her eyes. Let himself fall into them, letting her emotions, thoughts, energy swallow him up. Something shoved at him, tugging at his mind to look away, like the pressure in his lungs underwater when it's time to go up for air. He resisted and looked deeper. For an eternal moment, Treadon found himself in an endless universe, the edge of impossibility within his reach, the intensity of the sun, the depth of the fathomless ocean, the eternal potential of a single soul filled him and drained him at the same time. Eleanor jumped from her chair, knocking it back against the wall. Never do that again. He blinked several times. The shape of her eyes burned into the back of his vision, flashing white against the dark. He stared at her, his mouth open. What are you? If I tell you, you won't believe me, and I'll have to kill you instead of just punch you. You don't want to kill me, but you do want to tell me, Treadon said. Are you always so aggravatingly arrogant? She closed her eyes, pressing her back against the wall. Treadon imagined her refortifying her defenses. He could see her struggling, trying to fix the wall of a sand castle after an unexpected wave. No, simple. Honest. I'm usually very insecure. Eleanor made a choking sound, but she wasn't actually choking. The breath jumped out of her in a laugh that threatened to turn into a sob. Twice. 3 times. She let her shoulders shake and matched the rhythm with her head. I'm not supposed to do this. What? Laugh? You need to work on it. You kinda sound like you're dying. Treadon still had the urge to lean over and pat her on the back to help her breathe. Instead, he let her laughter lighten the weight he felt on his own chest. She took a deep breath. I'm fine, and I know how to laugh, just not like this. Not with you. Now, I'm a little confused. No, you're right. I'm going to tell you, and you're not going to believe me. And then you have to shut your mouth and let me tutor you in math. Okay? Treadon had a feeling he was going to regret this agreement. I'm a descendant of angels. I am descended from Adiona, the angel of life, and I'm supposed to make the world a better place. Treadon leaned back in his chair, his shoulders sagging with the weight of his heart. He'd thought they were connecting, but she still didn't trust him with the truth. She couldn't really expect him to believe something like that. But the lift in her eyebrows, the slight twist at the side of her lip, hope. She knew he'd never believe her, but there was a part of her that hoped he would. Did she think he was gullible, or just plain stupid?